For 54 years, every human who has flown in space has stayed within a few hundred miles of Earth. That half-century streak ended permanently in the last 24 hours. This visualization shows the Earth and Moon's gravity wells. At 12:37 a.m. on Flight Day 6, Orion crossed this invisible threshold, the lunar sphere of influence. Past this point, Earth's grip breaks. The spacecraft is actively falling toward the Moon at thousands of miles an hour. To get back home, the crew has to execute a precise orbital maneuver. They are going to use the Moon's gravity to slingshot themselves around the far side and back toward Earth. But using the Moon as a slingshot creates an immediate physical problem. As they whip around the back, the sheer mass of the Moon will stand directly between them and Earth, completely blocking all radio signals. To execute this flyby, these 4 astronauts are volunteering to cut their lifeline to mission control and become the most isolated human beings alive. As the afternoon of Flight Day 6 progresses, the clock ticks down toward the flyby. The spacecraft dives deeper into the lunar gravity well, pushing their total distance from Earth higher by the minute. At 1:57 p.m. Eastern, the odometer hits 248,655 miles. That number beats the maximum distance record set by the Apollo 13 crew back in 1970. Acknowledging how far they've traveled, mission specialist Jeremy Hansen radios down a request to name 2 undocumented lunar craters. One is called Integrity for their spacecraft, and the other Carol, in honor of the commander's late wife. As the lunar surface fills their windows, the crew begins reporting their live visual observations. Their first note is a surprise. Up close, the Moon doesn't look gray. It looks distinctly brown. They start identifying specific geological features. They spot the massive Orientali basin and map out the bright pulverized material forming long rays around the Ohm crater. It is a surreal environment. But inside the cabin, daily life keeps going. A jar of Nutella slowly floats through the brightly lit spacecraft, spinning in microgravity while the crew works. The crew is cataloging these craters and basins to map out potential landing sites for the missions that will follow them. They are gathering as much data as possible before they lose contact. At 6:41 p.m. Eastern, the crew reports Earthset. From their vantage point, our planet physically dips below the lunar horizon. Exactly 6 minutes later, the Moon moves fully between the spacecraft and Earth. The signal eclipses, and telemetry drops to a flatline. Down in Houston, engineers are now completely blind. They face a 40-minute wait, unable to send commands, receive data, or verify the crew's survival. In the dark, the crew is flying a mere 4,067 miles above the heavily cratered lunar far side. Instead of sitting idle, they use the darkness to their advantage. They scan the unlit lunar surface below, searching for the brief, bright flashes of meteoroids impacting the rock. Looking outward, the Moon is perfectly blocking the sun, creating a unique orbital solar eclipse. The crew studies the glowing solar corona visible around the edges of the lunar disk. The crew manages to run distinct scientific experiments while completely cut off from Earth, proving that both the hardware and the humans aboard Integrity can operate independently in deep space. Finally, at 7:24 p.m. Eastern, the Deep Space Network catches a signal. The spacecraft re-emerges from behind the Moon, triggering an Earthrise and confirming the crew survived the slingshot. The crew immediately transmits a photograph they took during their emergence. It shows Earth's terminator line, the stark boundary between day and night, swirling over Australia. By the morning of Flight Day 7, the astronauts wake up to music playing in the cabin. They are now 36,000 miles away from the Moon, safely locked into a trajectory bound for the Pacific Ocean. They open a comms link with the International Space Station, connecting the 4 Artemis astronauts with the crew in low Earth orbit. For a brief moment, 14 human beings converse together in the vacuum of space. A call from the president follows, formally acknowledging the crew's success in navigating the far-side flyby. This 24-hour period was an intentional, extreme stress test. NASA pushed the Orion spacecraft's thermal, navigation, and life support systems to their absolute limits to see if they would break. The systems held. By executing this flyby and surviving the communications blackout, the Artemis II crew verified the hardware. Humanity is capable of deep space flight again, and the next mission is cleared to land.